As the government battled to suppress the anger of the general population, who are now agitated by the increasingly bloody street fight between them and the police, the Kenyan economy was in a knee-bending crisis. According to data compiled by the Kenya Private Sector Alliance shared with the government, at least 5.9 million direct and indirect jobs were either lost or workers sent home on unpaid leave as companies and businesses sought to mitigate the effects of the virus. To cushion Kenyans from the harsh effects of the virus on the economy, the government of Kenya has continued to receive global support from international support agencies such as the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. According to the Central Bank of Kenya Governor Patrick Njoroge, Kenya wrote to the World Bank for financial assistance, noting that the GDP growth in 2020 could slow to about 2.3% from 5.4% in 2019.
We expect some new flows in the very near term, and these are related to the crisis. And this relates to the, let's say, IFIs, international financial institutions. So, for instance, we are expecting emergency. We've already made a request to the World Bank on emergency support related to the coronavirus that will be directed to the Ministry of Health, the various operations that they are doing, the Ministry of Health. The request has already been sent in, and therefore we expect something in the order of 50 million US dollars in the very near term. We are also working with the IMF for emergency assistance, something in the order of 750 million US dollars.
Since the outbreak, Kenya has received 80.5 billion shillings from the International Development Association, 26.8 billion shillings from the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, 21.3 billion shillings from Citibank, and 1.1 billion shilling joint donation from Equity Bank and the Mastercard Foundation. Other organizations that have donated to the COVID-19 Response Fund include Kenyan, the International Monetary Fund, NCBA Bank, Diamond Trust Bank, the European Union, and the US government. Up until the month of July, the government had received a total of 136.3 billion shillings in aid to help mitigate the crisis. But one question still remains unanswered. Just how well was the 136.3 billion shillings used? In a controversial report presented by Health Minister Mutahi Kagwe to Parliament, the Health Ministry spent 42 million shillings to lease ambulances, another 4 million shillings on tea and snacks, and a whopping 70 million shillings alone on communication. Why did the ministry lease 15 ambulances at a cost of 42 million shillings, while it could use the existing fleet or buy new ambulances? Why did the ministry use 2 million shillings for airtime, while Safaricom had issued COVID-19 response officials with a free airtime package? Or better yet, had the ministry exhausted the airtime allocated to it for the financial year 2019-2020? What were the ministry officials dining on to explain the 4 million shillings spent on tea and snacks in just under 4 months?
Hatuwezi tumia COVID-19 kama kisingizio cha kuiba pesa kiholela. Lazima wananchi hapa chini waangaliwe pia. Hii maneno ya watu kutumia mradi ya COVID-19 kunyakua pesa, kuiba pesa na kusema wanakunywa pesa chai na mandazi, sijui communication milioni ngapi, sijui ingine milioni 72 communication and whatever. Hii ni wizi ya ajabu.
Ananunua mandazi na 4 million. Hata kusema ukweli, watu wameiba pesa hii Kenya, lakini sijaisikia hii ya Kagwe.
Chai na maandazi inaenda into million of shillings. Sijui hiyo chai na maandazi wanakula kwa hoteli gani? Hoteli gani ambayo imefunguliwa saa hii watu wanakula maandazi na chai ina cost hiyo milioni?
Kagwe, utuambie utanuaje mandazi na 4 million? Na wananchi hapa hata pesa ambayo tumewapea hawapati.
Hiyo pesa kama ni 1 billion inatumika per day, ifike kwa mtu ambaye anaitaka, mtu ambaye anahitaji, na government is able to do that. Kama kuna mtu ambaye anapanga kutumia hii pesa ya corona, afungue biashara after corona, hali wananchi wanakufa, then huyu jamaa ni mchawi ajabu sijawahi ona.
The weight of these questions pushed the government to explain the controversial report. President Uhuru Kenyatta maintained that no money was misused in the fight against the virus, promising that a full audit would be done once the curve was flattened.
Pesa yote ambaye imetumika kupambana na hii jangwa, wakati ukifika, it shall be audited in broad daylight.
Kagwe, on the other hand, dismissed the new revelations as propaganda, calling upon Kenyans to first understand the time span involved.
It is always good to put things in perspective so that when you put a figure, it is a figure, and to ask yourself, is this a figure for a month? Is this a figure for 6 months? You know, how much time are we talking about?
But what was even more confusing was the ministry's principal secretary Susan Mochache's tweet that the ministry had not received the complete amount of 1 billion shillings from the World Bank and that no money had been spent at all. Mochache's tweet would later be deleted. Although Kagwe would later carry out a massive reshuffle in the ministry that would see the transfer of nearly 30 senior procurement and accounting officers, the misdeeds at Afya House are yet to be accounted for. Will Kenyans let go their quest to find out how the COVID-19 response funds were used, or will it be business as usual, profiting a few at the expense of the poor majority? Musa Salah, Nairobi.